Hello again. My name is Michael Bruce, and today I want to take you on a walk through a struggle, one fought in streets, courtrooms, in churches, cafes, smoky jazz basements, and the restless hearts of artists. This is the story of freedom through expression and how between 1958 and 1969, the black aesthetic rose to challenge a nation's conscience. It is a journey where gospel hymns became battle cries, where poems ignited soft and non-violent revolutions by the rebellions, and where the very act of creating, painting, singing, and speaking became a declaration of being. This is still a fight today, though softer. We still see the battle for cultural self-definition. This is Freedom of Expression, The Black Aesthetic, by Michael B. Bruce. Between 1958 and 1969, the United States underwent a cultural transformation. What began as a movement within the pews of Christian churches across the United States evolved into a militant demand for psychological, cultural, and political self-determination. Politics, culture, imagination, and soul would forever change society and give way to new revelations of freedom not seen in over a century for Black Americans. This movement was carried, molded, and ultimately defined by black artistic expression. The quiet plea was then a weapon. Integrationist theories became revolutionary. In 1959, black artistic expression flowered across the country. Music, poetry, theatre, and visual art did more than entertain. They mobilized, united, and spoke for a people demanding dignity. Freedom songs and gospel hymns such as We Shall Overcome carried the emotional toll of the early civil rights movement. They followed forgotten African traditions mixed with American spirituals and became tools of organization and survival. Craig Werner reminds us that this early aesthetic relied on Christian ethics and moral suasion. David Driscoll's painting, Behold Thy Son, turned Emmett Till into a Christ-like martyr and appealed to the conscience of the nation. But even then, hypocrisy and worry appeared in the strategy of respectability, a warning within the struggle demanding freedom from internal constraints. To understand their perspective, let's take a walk in the past and experience a small taste of their struggle and why the freedom of expression is so important. By the early 1960s, integrationist art met its limits. Progress stalled, emotional burden grew heavier, censorship from white control of economic structures and cultural control was levied, revealing the boundaries imposed on black creativity. In 1959, Columbia Records refused to release Charles Mingus's protest anthem, Fables of Faubus, with its original lyrics. White industry silenced black political voices. This moment seemed small to most Americans, but not for the black community. Art was now policed, the government's hold on freedom was now unconstitutional. Heads were turned then, and it foreshadowed the anger and weight of what was to come. A harsh demand for new institutions, new voices, and a creation of a new aesthetic. Then came 1965. The assassination of Malcolm X shattered the old road to integration. Disillusionment gave rise to Black Power, and with it, a cultural revolution, the Black Arts Movement. This movement refused white approval. It refused assimilation. It built its own institutions. Randall's Broadside press allowed black poets like Nikki Giovanni and Sonia Sanchez to publish without white editorial control. Art became not just political, but infrastructural. The turning point for black consciousness came with Amiri Baraka's Dutchman in 1964. In a subway car, Baraka staged the death of the integrationist dream. The character, Clay, educated, composed, hopeful, meets Lula, whose manipulation reveals the violence beneath white liberalism, beholding to Malcolm X's warnings. Clay's murder at the play's end symbolized a cultural severing. Baraka wasn't advocating senseless violence. He was simply explaining the psychic cost of assimilation. His message was unmistakable. Freedom would not come from appealing to white morality. Baraka didn't just write. He built. His Black Arts Repertory Theatre School, founded in Harlem in 1965, turned artistic creation into community power. By 1968, Larry Neal would declare openly, "Black art is the aesthetic and spiritual sister of black power." Art was now a weapon, explicitly political, unapologetically black. It then spreads like wildfire. From Coltrane's A Love Supreme to Nina Simone's militant blues, music itself declared identity and sovereignty. Institutions followed. Third World Press in Chicago, the Studio Museum in Harlem, and countless community theaters. Black culture was no longer asking permission. It was building a nation. But even at the height of this cultural revolution, not all black artists agreed with its militant direction. Abstract expressionists like Norman Lewis, a Harlem native, warned of a new danger, that the fight for liberation might create its own forms of restriction. He feared that some young artists were exploiting suffering as a shortcut to legitimacy, that individuality was being sacrificed to political expectation. That pain was becoming performance. Lewis had spent decades merging abstraction with social consciousness. He believed freedom of expression meant freedom from all pressure, including pressure from one's own community. His warning was a quiet but philosophical counterpoint. From freedom songs to militant jazz, from gospel hope to revolutionary theatre, black expression during this decade became a battleground for identity and liberation. Baraka dramatized the collapse of the integrationist dream. Neal demanded a new, sovereign aesthetic. Black institutions carved out spaces beyond white control. Yet voices like Norman Lewis reminded the movement that even revolutions must guard against becoming their own cage. In the end, the black aesthetic did achieve what politics alone could not. It freed the imagination. It redefined identity. And it affirmed that the truest freedom is found in the power and responsibility of free expression.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a surprise for you. Standing here with me is Louis Armstrong. He will be singing you this beautiful piece that means so much to all of us. But it seems to mean more to him as he spoke to me outside in the back rooms that have separate seating and gatherings for people of color. I hope today we bring you a taste of this struggle he holds in his heart as we all share our love for this man, not only in the entertainment industry, but yes, in our own homes, on your radio sets and television. Without further pause, I give you Louis Armstrong.
So